alarming statistics for you. According to an international survey done in 1996, 48% of Canadians have a serious problem reading and or comprehending simple literature. 48? It starts when our children are very young, and here to explain his solution behind helping our children avoid illiteracy, please welcome the author of Teach Your Children Well, Michael Maloney. Welcome, welcome.
Nice to be here.
I can already tell you're an individual, Michael. You're the one above every 300-400 guests comes this way. Man walks to a different tune. Okay, tell me the difference between completely illiterate and functionally illiterate. Functioning.
Well, functionally illiterate are people who couldn't read a newspaper. They literally can't pick up a newspaper and read it.
Okay, that's
functionally illiterate. That's about 26% of the Canadian
They can't read a newspaper, but they can read signs like stop, or they...
Yeah, they could probably read single words, some single words.
Okay, now completely illiterate is...
Well, there are people out there that cannot read at all. They cannot read a word. I've taught them.
48%, Michael?
26% can't read, get the information off the page. The rest of them can read it, but they can't really understand it.
Why so many numbers? What is the real problem?
We don't teach them well.
We teach one way, and so we don't allow for people who have phonetic problems or this problem or that problem. We just do it one way.
And the problem is that once they start to fall through the cracks, it just gets worse and worse the longer they're in school. Like Desiree said, when she hit grade 4, she hit the wall. And that's what happens to many, many adults when they're children. And the result is they don't learn from that point on.
So unless your child happens to learn the way that is taught, it's one of that 48% we've got going here.
That's right. And you need to be very watchful of what's happening with your child.
How can you tell if your child's got a problem?
You have to watch what they're doing when they pick up a book. You have to look for the warning signs. Do they shy away from books?
Right.
Do they not want to go to school? Do they not bring home materials that they should have remembered to bring home? You know, there's lots of ways to find out whether or not your child is succeeding at school, and part of their success there is going to depend on whether or not they can read well. Just listen to them read. That's the easiest way.
Okay, so those are signs that they're not reading well.
That's right.
Okay, so yes, we just mentioned those, and these are signs, some more signs. So what do you do if you've got a child with these problems?
Go to the school, set up a meeting with the teacher.
Yeah.
Ask the teacher 4 questions.
I like these questions. Listen to these, ladies. You got a kid in school.
Yeah. What does my child know now?
Right.
What will you teach them next? How will you know that they know it? How will I know that they know it? And any teacher who doesn't answer those questions adroitly is a teacher who's not organized. But don't blame the teachers.
Yeah, I mean, we were both talking about this. We both agree. Teachers are, and I like your analogy, are as important as heart surgeons. I happen to think they're more important because more people use teachers than heart surgeons. And they're wonderful people, but they're
not properly trained. We're not giving them the benefit of the things we know from the research that would make them into very capable teachers. Okay,
Michael has a system. Now tell them how this started in the U.S. Was it 1,600 or 16,000 they used?
120,000.
In the initial?
Yes, 120,000 children in the experiment.
In what year?
The late 70s.
Okay.
After the Watts riots.
After the Watts riots, they used this method on 120,000 children, and the results were?
Well, one method of 16 worked. One worked reasonably well, one worked very well.
So they tried 16 different things on these 120.
Yes, they compared it. And then they decided that the statistics that favored the one method must be wrong, so they did it all over again.
Because this one system... Direct instruction was so successful.
Yes.
And they said, okay, that's just a freak thing. It couldn't possibly be, so let's try it again.
Did it again.
And it worked again.
This is now the 7th replication of the same
study. They've replicated this test 7 times since the 70s. Every time it's proven to be this, but they're not implementing it yet in the system. And
they're not putting it into the teachers' colleges. We're not using...
Our teachers don't know about this. I just hate these stories.
It's very sad.
It's pathetic. It's ugly. It's stupid. What is the problem?
Because the philosophy of education across North America does not accept these kinds of approaches. The people who are running the ministries believe a different set of values. They believe in teaching the whole child. Well, no, let's just teach them some skills from where I come from.
Reading, writing, arithmetic.
Well, it's not just, I mean, let's not go back to basics. We're not talking about that. We're talking about using...
Well, here we are, we have people who can't read.
Yeah, but
You know.
let's talk about effective technology. Let's talk about things that will guarantee that you can teach a child to read.
This system you have called?
Well, it's basically the QLC educational model. It's my model. It's made up of 3 components. One that'll get the kids in their seats, one that will teach them very clearly, and one that will measure what you're teaching so that you know whether or not it's working.
And you call it direct?
The direct instruction is the instructional piece.
Okay.
That's when
the whole thing is called?
It's the QLC model.
QLC. Now
that's my company.
QLC is your company. You have how many centers across North America using this system?
We've started about 20 of them across the country.
And for how long?
About 25 years.
And how many children have you helped?
Thousands.
Thousands.
And adults.
Okay.
Today I'm teaching 25 workfare clients how to read. They couldn't read. Did that man slip is the first sentence I ask them to read. They can't read it. A month later, they're reading at a grade 4 level. 2 months later, at a grade 8 level.
Okay, we obviously have a big problem in our country. 48% of our people are having this struggle. The solution to the problem, Michael, is?
Good teaching, lots of practice, and getting our priorities straight. If you're not going to teach these kids when they're children, then you're going to inherit large problems. These kids do not go to the moon. They're still here. They're still part of our social network.
Okay, but let's talk about right now, right in today, there's lots of us with children who are really struggling and failing in school. What am I going to do with my kid now? I go to the teacher, what are you teaching? What are you going to teach? How will you know? And how will I know? And I get, duh. Then now what am I going to do?
Call me.
Call you. Can you handle all of the children in this country?
We'll open enough centers to do that. There are people out there that would love to learn this. There are teachers sitting in classrooms who are totally fed up. They'd love to have a learning center like mine. Let's just build some.
Okay. Okay, now if you are having problems with your child, this will help?
Certainly will.
Okay.
It's in chapters.
It's in chapters right across this country. It's called Teach Your Children Well.
It's their big promotion this month.
Oh, okay, good for you. If you want Michael's number, you can call us here. We'll give it to you. Maybe we'll put it up at the end of the show. Or it's at the back of the book, okay? You can call, it's called ABC Canada by looking up Learn in your local Yellow Pages, or call them toll free at 1-800-303-1004. I'm so glad that there are people like you around. Wow. If I had a big white hat, I'd give it to you to wear, you know. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you for coming. Congratulations, Michael. We'll be back in just a second.